Our three pack. So Todd, I know
Yeah.
we just talked about business plans, calling people, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm a simple guy, right? I don't like to complicate things. I don't spend a lot of time or money into advertising and social media and stuff. And not to say that you shouldn't.
Right.
That's
No, I'm
just
with you.
definitely do that kind of stuff. But I'm 20 years into it, so I have a lot more experience. I've got a sphere of influence that a lot of agents that might be 6 months into it that don't
Don't
have,
have.
and they need to generate their sphere of influence. But I'm just going to break down. This is what I do each and every year. And when I look back on 2022, not to pat myself on the back, but I had a pretty solid year.
You
So
did.
I'm
Nice
just going to
job.
share the three things that I focus on, how I simplify my business plan. First one is I just focus on having real estate conversations with anyone and anywhere. It doesn't matter whether I'm sitting at the bar, it doesn't matter whether I'm at an event for my kids, it doesn't matter whether I'm at a holiday or Christmas party
On the plane.
or on the plane
Yeah.
or holiday Christmas party with my wife's company. It doesn't matter. If I'm having a conversation with you, my goal is to have a real estate conversation with you. The more real estate conversations I have, the more leads it generates. The more leads that I generate, the more closings I have. I always walk into every single conversation understanding, especially in today's market, people don't want to talk to a realtor.
Mhm.
We are like the leper walking down the road to Jerusalem, having to yell out, leper at the top of your lungs, and everybody runs. There's
Scares away. Yep.
so many of us. But everybody wants to talk real estate. So everybody wants to talk what's going on with the market, where the market's going, when should I buy, when should I sell. So you should know you should also know and really take some time in understanding what is on people's minds right now. They're concerned about the market, whether their concerns are valid or not valid. They're still concerned about the market. They're concerned about rates, confusion about rates. They're concerned about the economy. They're concerned about inflation. So understand this, and anyone that you meet, if you understand this
Hmm.
principle, even if it's at an open house, doesn't matter whether you're at, if you can lead conversations to these things and be a master of what's going on with the numbers, be a master of what's going on in the marketplace, you're going to have a deeper real estate conversation. So with all that being said and done, going back to, and I know Mindy's going to join us talking about goals. I just set a daily, a weekly, and a monthly goal. How many real estate conversations do I want to have today? And if I'm a little light, I just pick up my phone, start going down and start calling people and calling people and calling people. You don't have to call people and ask for the listing. All you do is have to call people and answer questions about the real estate market. And this is how you differentiate yourself. I think the best way, Todd, to differentiate yourself between all the other agents out there is being an expert in the market.
Totally. And that's one of the reasons why we do this. We don't do this to make me feel good about myself or, make the company think we're all that. We do this because this is the information that arms our agents, and gives them the data that they can have more intellectual conversations when they do open their mouth. And that's really the difference between any of our agent staff, agents and other agents, is when you open your mouth, what's falling out. If you're falling out about trying to close somebody, trying to convert them, they're not going to do that in a group environment around a holiday. They're not going to do it. In fact, there are a lot of reasons, but number one is they don't want to share their personal, private, laundry with everybody around the conversation with you or that might be hearing it. This is an opportunity for you to create and to see who's interested, to talk about the market, talk about real estate, make sure people know you're the expert, but just feel who's interested and say to people, I'd love to have a conversation with you maybe next week or right after the first of the year. What's better for you? That's the purpose of these conversations. You're not going to try to if there's a naysayer in the group, you're not going to convert that person to a
Yeah.
believer. It's just not going to happen.
Well, it's like going to a car lot.
Never
Nobody
happens.
wants to talk to a car
Of
salesman,
course.
really, unless
Right.
you absolutely have got to buy a car. But still, then we don't want to.
Mhm.
But if I pop onto a car lot and I'm having a conversation with a car salesman and we're talking about where the car industry is going and where we're seeing, and upgrades, I should say, and where things are changing and technology and stuff like that. So also, now all of a sudden we're having a conversation,
Mhm.
and then the sale, and then that closing comes from that. So
Yep.
you just
Totally.
gotta have those real estate conversations. So I would say the first thing that you do is sit down and say, okay, how many real estate conversations do I want to have a day? Is it two a day? Well, I'm no no math major, but 365 times 2, that's over 700 real estate conversations you're having a year.
That's a lot. But I'll tell you what, if I don't know how many people I need to talk to earn the kind of money I have to earn, it's like the Cheshire Cat again, having the conversation with Alice in Wonderland at the fork in the road. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
which way you go if you don't know where you're going, but it really does matter. The problem is you didn't get the map. You need to have the map, and that's what we're doing tomorrow. We're doing that tomorrow, and that's what Todd Bookspan was talking about. Mike, you're doing it as well with your team. If you don't have the map, you don't know where you're going.
And Nick, if today you wake up, you don't have anyone to talk to, you know what I do? Just take an Uber somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you got somebody to talk
There
to.
you go.
I don't know how many real estate conversations I have with Uber. I don't know how many Uber drivers I actually have got their personal cell phones in my car.
It's practice. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the whole point of this. And I know we talk about this a lot. And if we had audio last week, we would be talking about it again. But what happens now at this point in the conversation is we have 50% of the realtors that are on this call are like, done, know what we're talking about. Let's go on the next slide. There's a lot of you on there, and that's okay, that are very nervous about having real estate related conversations because, like Todd said, you don't have the roadmap of how to have the conversation and how many conversations to have. And so again, I know I say this a lot, so does Todd and Mike. That's where a team comes in. That's where a coach comes in. Reach out to another agent in your office and just have a conversation with them. We're Anna's doing in our Arrowhead office. She's doing scripting accountability now, so you can actually sit down with her and other agents, and you can go back and forth and do role play. These are important things to move your business to the next level, especially as you're looking forward to 2023.
Yeah, and one tool, Todd, I don't think we ever really talk about it. We use it all the time on our team. Is just go to armless.com and hit statistics.
Yeah,
you
totally.
are going to get
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed
Yeah.
with incredible information. You can break down activity by zip code. Some great stuff there.
Yep.
All right. Second thing is, if I'm going to have a real estate conversation with you, I cannot let that conversation come to an end if I'm not gathering data and attempting to set appointments. So we talk about it all the time. Leverage your mobile app, the MLS subscriptions, your website to collect names, phone numbers, and emails, because a deeper real estate conversation is going to lead to deeper wants and needs that person is going to start to express, whether it's really understanding what's going on in their neighborhood or really wanting some sort of mobile app that they could use and not get bombarded with.
Right.
With a million agents calling and texting and so forth. So I try to always, and the mobile app we talk about all the time, but it's the greatest tool for me that West USA offers for me to collect people's names and phone numbers. I just do it all the time. So collect that information and set a deliverable. Okay, Todd, I'm going to send this out to you. Okay, or I'm going to call you, or we talked about this. I'm going to set up this subscription for you, or whatever the case is. Set up that deliverable so that there is a follow-up. And I always try to schedule an appointment. And nowadays it can be Zoom. I do a lot of appointments via Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, great conversation. You talked about this. We talked about this. How about we get together, next Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 5? I don't ask whether they want to get together or
No.
not, because
Right.
once you give them that opportunity to say no, they're going to say no.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in the first segment here too. Number one, when I said the whole goal is not to convert them right there while you're necessarily having the conversation, it's planting some seeds. It's giving them the information that they may be asking for. But more importantly, things like, for instance, well, Mike, gee, you know what? This isn't really a good time. I know we're here at a party, but what's your slowest day next week that you got going on? Oh, well, Wednesday. Okay. And, and I know, days are kind of cyclical as well. What's the slowest part of Wednesday? Well, Wednesday morning. So then could I stop by your shop? Would you mind if I stop by your shop at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning and bring my card and we'll have a quick conversation? Yeah, that'd be really good. Thanks. I mean, make it as super simple. We're always talking about making it simple. Just make it easy.
Well, one of the things my partner does, boy, I'm really disclosing tricks. So he'll set an appointment, and what you don't know when you have lunch with him is right after lunch you're going to go look at a home or two. He's already got it scheduled and set.
Oh my God.
And so forth. It's
That's
great
awesome.
because of the real estate conversation that he initially had. And nothing gets people more excited than going out and looking at homes.
That's awesome.
And then the third thing is you got to set your cadence, and you have to leverage your CRM. Points 1 and 2, if you're not using a CRM, don't worry about number one and don't worry about number two, because if you're collecting names, phone numbers, and emails and you're not managing the data, you're really kind of wasting time. So input all the information that you collect into your CRM. Every real estate conversation you have should be entered into your CRM. Set up a follow-up task. It's my number one thing. Even if I call and I have to leave you a message because you don't answer your phone, Todd, I'm going to set a task. We're going to put in the notes, called Todd, left message. I'm going to set up a task reminder for her to do this again next Tuesday so that nobody falls through the cracks. And then if you do have a real estate conversation with them and they have, expressed some interest, yeah, we're thinking about, buying or making a move sometime during the summer, you got to set up your cadence, meaning how often are you going to follow up, stay in touch with them, and in what medium are you going to do that, whether it's phone calls, text messages, emails, and
Well,
so
you've
forth.
talked about that, and I love the word cadence. You've talked about this for a while. Many systems talk about an 8x8 foundation and a 33 touch system after that. And I think you've said that the Recon Group uses a certain number of touches per year.
25 touches
25.
after the close.
Yeah. So again, before, after, during, the fact is you have to be in front of these people, top of mind. Yes, if you don't have a CRM, your business is going to be more busy, meaning your daily activities, you're going to be spending a lot of time in that yellow light activity. Mindy can take you through that stuff. Red light means you shouldn't be doing it, but you maybe have to because you don't have somebody to do it. Yellow is typically administration work and like setting up your flyers or your packet forms for tomorrow. And then green is you doing what you do best.
Money-making
It's a
activity.
money-making activity. That's why they call it green.
All right, and I'll just say this, Nick. I understand, for a lot of agents are struggling, and I understand money's tight for a lot of people. I totally understand it. I totally get it. But for $40 a month, you can have a CRM, you can have a mobile app, and we don't have time to get into Forewarn. These are the three tools that I use constantly that West USA provides, and I think they're must. You have to spend some money to keep your business going.
Well, so that's what Todd was talking about. Your business is going to be busy if you don't have those things, but not busy doing things that make you money. It's going to be you chasing your tail. It's trying to remember to call that individual or send that text or send that follow up or make sure you have all of your schedule done. When the CRM will send you an email in the morning and tell you, here's your call list, here's your activity, you're not chasing your tail, you're in front of it. It's budgeting your time and budgeting your money. If your money is going out, you don't budget it, it's running you, not running it. And the same thing with your time.
Yeah, and again, we didn't have sound last week, but we did go through a lot of this last week. But here in a nutshell, this is my business plan.
And it's simple.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
And but I have to. And Mindy and I were going to talk about goals, but you have to have set numbers for this. But it's not that complicated. And one of the things that when you are putting together your business plan, you have to identify your top 3 to 5 lead sources. And real estate conversations, because I am having them everywhere and anywhere I go, it is my lead source, because I'm just going to have a real estate conversation, whether you want it or not, or whether you like it or not. All right. Well, this is our 3-pack today.